We Are Islamic Republic, Part 64. Source C. Iqbal's view on territorial conquest and Islamic democracy and democracy. So it was a letter written by Sir Allama Muhammad Iqbal in 1927 that Muslim peoples have fought and conquered like other peoples, and that some of their leaders have screened their personal ambition behind the veil of religion. I do not deny, but I am absolutely sure that the territorial conquest was no part of the original program of Islam. He returned to India to work as a lawyer and also to write poetry and teach philosophy. From an early age, he was a fervent nationalist and in Lahore became an active politician. During the 1920s, his experience of the failure of the attempts at Hindu Muslim unity convinced him that partition was the answer. He served as a member of the Punjab Assembly and attended the Round Table Conference, but his long lasting influence was in the Muslim League. He was one of the first to argue that Muslims had to build an effective mass political party. It was this policy which Jinnah adopted so successfully. A few years later, the Muslim League became a popular mass political party. Iqbal's poetry awakened a sense of nationhood among Muslims and urged them to be active and alert in order to make progress. Their progress, he said, should not be along the road of Western capitalism, but instead along distinctive Islamic faith of universal brotherhood. Source D. Muslims must awake. An infidel before his idol was waking hot is better than the religious man asleep in his mosque. Today and tomorrow. No claim to the future, its joy of its sorrow. Has he in whose soul no passion burns now? Unworthy of the tumult and the strife of tomorrow, that nation to whose will today does not bow. These are the poetic lines by Sir Allama Muhammad Iqbal. Allama Iqbal completed PhD at Munich University in Germany in 1905 and in 1922 was knighted in recognition of his poetry and as such as known as Dr. Muhammad Iqbal as well as Sir Allama Muhammad Iqbal. In respect of his learning and service to Islam, he is commonly known as Allama Muhammad Iqbal. Sir Allama Muhammad Iqbal was a great poet who wrote from the heart. Iqbal was a distinguished Urdu poet. He used his poetry to awaken a sense of nationhood among Muslims. He wrote from the heart. A constant theme in his poetry is the idea that the Muslims must be proud of their past. Only by being conscious of their identity can they survive. His success as a poet and his commitment to Islamic society led him, almost against his wishes, into political leadership. Though his poetry, Iqbal highlighted the plight of India and expressed the frustration of many about their politicians, as reflected in the extracts below. Reproach, your fate, poor helpless India, there is no railing. Always the brightest jewel in the someone's crown, your peasant, a carcass pulled up from the grave, whose coffin is mouldering, still beneath the sod, mortgaged to the alien, soul and body too. Alas, the dweller vanished with the dwelling, enslaved to Britain. You have kissed the rod? It is not Britain I reproach, but you. We'll continue with Allama Iqbal poetry as we continue with the other videos, the upcoming videos.